So let's discuss the behavior of the Xero integration. So the Xero integration's primary purpose is the synchronization of financial records. So financial records being invoices and credit notes. So when an invoice or credit note is raised in Sonas after your synchronization date, it will sync to Xero, and it's hourly on the half hour. That information and the underlying information of that financial record is put into Xero. It will include the amount, the date, the reference number, as well as the customer contact to link that with the contact in Xero, and the transaction categories, amounts, and tax rates. So once that information comes through, Xero will then file that money within Xero on the transaction categories accordingly to your assigned sales account. Now, since the documents are raised in Sonas and synced to Xero, you need to make sure that they stay the same, right? So if you need to void an invoice, you want to void it from Xero, which will then in turn cancel it from Sonas. So you don't want to cancel the financial record in Sonas. So cancel the financial record in Xero, and we'll cancel it in Sonas. You cannot edit or change financial records in Sonas. So if you do make any changes to those financial records in Xero, they will not match the financial records that are then living in Sonas, which will cause issues for your journaling. So when the post sales, when it moves from your pre-sales to your post-sales, it won't be able to do that because those records won't be the same anymore. So keep that in mind when you're changing. If you do need to change anything, you won't get that automated journaling. Now, when a customer makes a payment on a charge, so a back payment, and they report that back payment via the portal, you're going to receive an activity in Sonas from your activities section that a payment's been made and it needs to be verified. If before you verify that payment in Sonas, you reconcile and verify that payment in Xero, Xero will let Sonas know that, and it will be verified in Sonas as well, and the activity will show verified by the system. Now, we do support automatic journaling. In order to have automatic journaling post-event, you need to have it turned on, and you can wait for however many days after the completion or cancellations, and it will move, assuming these accounts are different, from your pre-journaling, so your future sales accounts, to your post-journaling or actual sales accounts, assuming that those two accounts are different. If you need to set up a new account, please do so in Xero, and then you want to refresh your Xero data so it shows up on your drop down, so you can apply it in your configurations. So this is a little bit of look at how to expect Xero to work. Now, a few other things: when a document has synced to Xero, you will see a sync label next to that, showing that it has successfully synced. And you can look at your financial, on your finance section under accounts, under your financial records, you will see if there has been a sync. So we'll say sync if you have a successful Xero sync. If there's any issues with your sync, you will get an activity raised. So incorrect, the activities will be, the type here, will be an incorrect or error, excuse me. So error synchronizing credit note or an error synchronizing invoice. There can also be journal errors if that's applicable as well. You also get an activity for invoice correctly synchronized, credit note correctly synchronized. So you do pay attention to those because that will give you some insight if there's any issues. You also could get an issue raised here on system logs if there's integration errors. So here's an error right here, error synchronizing credit note. And one of the main issues that you may see here, like this one is a tax code, so this will give you a lot of the information you need, and there'll be more error logs in the system logs that can share if there's any issues there as well. Once the information is in Xero, that is where you can run your Xero reports. So you will not run any of your Xero reports from Sonas. Sonas is where you'll run your cash flow reports, any revenue forecasting, because the information lives there. But any of your post Xero or post financial record reports, you'll run from Xero. And just to answer a few different questions, if you're having issues with the connection of Xero for any reason, you can refresh the connection by going to your setup screen and refresh Xero data. Is a great way to, if there's any connection issues, you can always turn off the integration by hitting this red button, and that will stop integrations. And some things that are not covered by the integration to keep in mind. We are not synchronizing anything other than the invoice or the credit note. So no draft invoices, no pro formas, quotations. Any invoices or credit note created in Xero do not sync to Sonas. So Sonas should be your sole creator of credit notes and invoices. And we do not create existing Xero taxes in Sonas, nor do we reconcile within Sonas, because Sonas does not integrate with your bank. So you will maintain any reconciliations within Xero. And then of course we don't create any Xero reports, which I explained. So if you have any additional questions, please reach out to your customer success rep.